I'm Kristen from Call in Your Light, and I'm here today to deliver another timeless All ZODIAC collective message for you. This is intended to be a love reading, and for love, I invite you to extend it to not just your romantic love interests, but also to your best friends, your family, and to anyone with whom you have a close relationship with. So, all day long today, I've been hearing every trick in the book. And that is pertaining to a person in your life, if you're resonating with this video, who is using critical events, crisis, things that are happening that could be overwhelming. And it doesn't have to be a huge dramatic emergency in your life, but it could be just, there's some stuff going on and you have a person who's using that to infiltrate their way back into your life. And they're using this kind of trickery, but the trickery is emotional trickery to some degree, where it's like they're presenting themselves as, oh, poor, pitiful me, I'm by myself with this, or, maybe you broke up with someone and they're trying to use some sort of thing that's happening within their own life to infiltrate your space and get back in. And it could be very tempting to allow this person back into your life because you really do care about them. You just don't necessarily want them to be in your everyday existence the way they had been previously. So whether it's the best friend, whether it's your lover, whether it's an ex-boyfriend, whether it's an ex-husband, this could be like the mother of your children that you're trying to get a life for your own, and they keep trying to sort of act as if they're still living in the house with you, and in which case, in this instance, almost they could be using whatever's going on, whatever this critical event, whatever this crisis is, whatever this that's going on around you to move back into your house, basically. So that's a message out there for someone. So, and what I'm also hearing as I grab my cards and I start shuffling is that this could be the crisis in someone's own mind. And I'm hearing hypochondriac, or just someone, not that there isn't something really going on, but they're over-exaggerating it. They're just taking it a step too much. It's like someone's like all of a sudden they're in the hospital because they think that they're having a heart attack or they're having food poisoning or whatever, but really it's an anxiety attack kind of thing. So let's look at what the current energies are between you and this person. We'll take this baby that fell, and we're gonna grab this. This was a person that you felt at one point in this partnership, it was very much what you wanted it to be, and you kind of thought, wow, this person's going to be in my life forever. And it got very, very comfortable, and part of this sort of falling apart of this relationship with this person was the fact that what I'm hearing is it sneaks up on you when a person changes, when a person kind of evolves, and even when you evolve in a way separately, as individuals, in a way where this partnership doesn't sustain, right? And it sneaks up on you. That's what I'm getting from this card. And you did, you were very hesitant for a very long time, and you spent a lot of time thinking about, can I somehow fix this? Can I be more open-minded? Can I be more understanding of their situation? Is there a way, in a way, kind of putting yourself on the back burner for some of you out there, but also eventually feeling like you had to insert yourself and insert your own self-empowerment finally, because it just felt like there was no way to figure out here with this card. No way to figure out how to kind of get this relationship back to what it was, because there is no ever taking this relationship back to what it was. We all evolve, we all grow, we all change, even in the best of relationships, the best of friendships, loverships, partnerships, you know, husband wifery ships, all of these kinds of partnerships that we have, we do all change, and in the best of circumstances, we're changing together, or we're compromising, or we're understanding, or you know, we're just, being in agreement that there's that we're allowed to have differences, that we're allowed to be separate people, but that we come together in supporting each other, in taking each other through life in a place where everyone feels like, yeah, I've got someone who gets my back. When I need it, I have somebody who gets me. That no matter how we shift and change and evolve, de-evolve, evolve back, you know, somebody who, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, understands and gets me, and I can feel free to be myself. And then at one point, you feeling free to be yourself kind of pissed the other person off, and them being free to be themselves began to piss you off, and it's upsetting. And a lot of work was done, and a lot of evaluation was done, and a lot of looking at the past and what worked in the past to try to make it work again, but not recognizing that this partnership now is an entity on itself that has changed and is going off in a different direction than where you individually are. So it's sort of like, do you want to follow this partnership on this path that isn't quite what you want, or do you want to go on your own path? And realizing that at some point maybe the paths may converge again, yours and theirs, if you begin to go into your own self-expression of who you are and began to feel empowered with that and happy with that and move forward with that, and not worried about what other people think about who I am and what I'm doing, but be very confident. Coming back together that way, as opposed to, well, you don't get me anymore, and you don't get me anymore, and I'm giving all the time, and well, who asked you to give all the time, and I never told you to like go out of your way for me. Well, I thought that we loved each other and we were friends, and we were committed to each other, and that's what committed people do, and I'm shifting and changing and evolving and trying to make these compromises just to keep this together, and you don't care and you don't give a shit. That kind of energy. So let's look and see some more. What is it that you need to know about where this partnership is going? Where is it going? Should you continue on this path and do nothing? Well, you're holding on to something that is making you unsatisfied. And of course, not turning around and seeing that there is a life for you and other options that are there, and it's holding on to perhaps this stability, this what feels safe in the root chakra, right? The root chakra is our safety, our security. It's we wanting to be fed the nourishment of our very life force, right? And when we've attached a person to like our life force energy, it can be really difficult to leave, or to accept that things have evolved and changed, or to even go up to this person and say, hey, I really care about you. Let's talk about this stuff that's going on. Although I feel for those of you that are watching this video that are here present, maybe you have tried talking with them and it didn't quite go so well, or you might even, it's almost like, what's the point in talking with them? Because haven't we all been there, where you just know them so well that you know that they're not going to take either a criticism, or some people have so much shame around themselves in these areas that they can't even admit that maybe they had done something, or that they had been a part of something not working out. What I'm hearing is people thinking, well, I'm all light and love. No, really, I'm light and love, and it's this whole kind of like what my friend Austin calls the hippie kittens, and look, I'm going to raise my hand. I'm spiritual woo-woo kind of gal, but it can go too far where people kind of use that as an excuse, or twist spirituality, or twist, the whole concept of love and light around into this twisted sort of thing that has nothing really to do with love and light. It's like, well, if you were really enlightened, then it would be okay for you to allow me to walk right all over you. If you were really enlightened and you were really spiritual, you would be okay with giving me all of this while I give you nothing in return, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of the above. And you know that something has come to an end, that it's just not working anymore. And that there are other options. So can I say that to you in case you really are feeling that you're going to be left alone? There are other options. I say it to myself too, because I can get this way romantically. Even with friendships, we feel like, well, if I let these people go, who will I go out with? Who will I be friends with? And what I invite you to meditate on, marinate on, think about, swirl through your energy field, is that when you create space, when you let things go, you do allow for new to come in, new opportunities, new people. And it may take a little bit of time, but it can happen. And I betcha there's some people out there that you really could call up and hang out with that you're just not as friendly with, but they would love to kind of have a talk or get to know you. Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye used to be my hairdresser. Of course, he's not my hairdresser anymore because he's on Queer Eye. But he said something to me once that was super cool. We were talking about this very subject, and he said, why don't you take some secondary friends and move them up a level? And he even said, well, like me, because, he was doing my hair and we would chat all the time. And, I'm in the salon like once a month, so we knew each other very well, and we would just chat away. And he'd be like, let's meet at the diner. We don't live that far away. So once or twice, we actually got together at our local diner and hung out. And his whole point was there might be some people that you can upgrade as your friends. And I mean that in the best of ways. There are people out there that you can hang out with that you haven't thought about. You might even think, no, not them, they wouldn't be into that. Well, try it and see. For every reach out that you do, let's say you do 5, you might only get 2 back, and out of those 2, does it become something substantial? But that's just cycles. When I've done this, I've put things out there, and a couple of the people didn't, in the long term, really turn out to be, those substantial friends. Someone also once said to me, a very wise woman once said that sometimes, and I know this is true because I know this for myself, this was true, that a lot of times we feed each other. That when we've devolved in a friendship, or when the friendship is not as substantial anymore, or the love ship, or like whatever partnership it is, because I really feel this video is for friends and lovers. Ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, almost ex-boyfriend, almost ex-husband, somebody that you have like a legal separation in, that you can't friggin' sign the papers to get a divorce, and it's been 5 years later and you're still unhappy. Because they're all wrapped up in who you are, your life force energy. I can't live without them. It feels like you can't live without them. And this happens in friendships too, and it happens with family. I showed it to you, so now I have to pull it for you. I'm going to grab one more as I speak with you. So yeah, a lot of times we feed each other these negative, thought and behavior patterns that we're trying to reprogram, that we're trying to drop, that we're trying to better ourselves, and we can't quite figure out why. And it's because we're hanging out with people that aren't the best for us. Maybe at one point they were, but they're not anymore. And you might find people that are more stable, more grounded, more kind of to be at the place where you want to be, where you want to go at. In a way, you might find them boring. Like, well, what will we talk about? You know? And trust me, as you begin to move forward and talk with some of these new people, you might be surprised at how the conversation just flows and flows. And you might find yourself wanting to talk about all kinds of different topics that you never even thought before that you would be interested in. Maybe they introduce you to some things, you introduce them to some things. You have things in common with them that you really, maybe it's about business and you don't, you know, a big example is gossip. Maybe you gossip a lot with someone, or you kvetch with someone a lot, or, you know, you kind of like, you know, it's like you complain with each other as opposed to lifting each other up. And there's some lifting up, and it's almost like you're grabbing at those moments where, well, things were fine today. Things were good today. You know, I haven't seen them in a couple of weeks, and we had this great lunch. Well, yeah, because you haven't seen them in a couple of weeks. You've been on a business trip for like a week or two, or whatever it is. You haven't slept with the person for a while. Yeah, it's going to be great. And then when you fall back into those old patterns, then you see. So this is very much about your own empowerment and having patience with yourself and having patience with this new space that you're creating with yourself. Because there are partnerships that are just meant for you. Juicy, consistent, loving, romantic, sensual, fun, adventurous, on the same page, moving in the same direction. Partnerships for you. And creativity, creating together, creating a new you when it comes to partnerships, embracing that person that you want to be in partnerships, acting like the kind of person that you would want. But also here, this is, you know, creativity, root chakra. It goes right back to the beginning of the reading, where you can feel stable and grounded. You can have a full cup. You know, when we're used to our life force energy running on empty, when we're breadcrumbed or we're given just a tiny bit of gas, it can feel like, oh yeah, great. And you don't realize that you're running on empty. You're running on, you know, this very short sprint to the next place where you can fill up, as opposed to being full. And ultimately, it's about filling yourself up. And it's hard to fill yourself up and really be there to give and receive to the people in your life that are going to be right for you, that are going to be forward moving for you, that are going to enhance you on your life path journey, that are going to be part of your mission in life, your soul's purpose in life, that are going to be the partners that are going to be there, that are going to get your back, that are going to accept you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that you can do the same for them, and they're able to receive that. And it's a natural, beautiful flow. You have to give that to yourself first. And so, never fear. Make the room, and the people will come. Yeah, wasn't that a famous movie? If you build it, right? Where if you build it, they will come. But it's true. If you build the security, the field of dreams, yes. We're going on a field of dreams philosophy here. That if you build your own self-love and give yourself the time and the patience to do that in the heart space, heart chakra green, to connect to your own heart, to open your own heart, to listen to your own heart, to listen to your heart intelligence and what your heart is telling you, what your gut's telling you. Then you're going to be in the zone, and those people will come. So, what do you need to tell yourself about this situation? couldn't let you get close to me. So, you can't read. I'm trying to get this. At one point, you did put up your boundaries out of your own self-preservation. And what I want to say about this is you had to choose them or you. It comes down to that. And you had to choose you. And that's self-love. Choosing yourself in a loving way to preserve who you are and who you want to be. And if they really wanted to be in your space, they would accept that. And their message to you, what would they like to say to you if they could? What would they say to you if they could? I'm becoming a better person. So they're on their own path. To me, this talks about they're becoming the best person for them. And there's something about the connection right now that's not really serving either one of you. Right? So it's okay to let it go. It's okay to trust yourself. And the final message, life purpose. Because you are on your path. And when it comes down to it, you can't let anybody or anything distract you from your life's purpose. And if you were getting distracted by having to constantly entertain this person, constantly make excuses as to why they were acting a certain way, feeling bad about how you act in front of them, because like, that's not who I am, then we're not at a place where we can serve ourselves, but we're also not at the place where we can serve others, and we can move forward with our plans. So, and this is communication. So to me, this is communication that you are going to be having with other people. The blue here in the throat chakra. Communication, but it's, so these opportunities coming in, but also how you communicate with yourself. Ah, there we go. There's the message. Communicating with yourself. Giving self-love talk to yourself. But also giving real talk to yourself. Because there's no excuse to not live your best life. And sometimes it's about grounding yourself in the reality of a situation. And accepting the truth. And moving through your personal truth. That's it for right now. I thank you. Please subscribe. Please comment below. I would love to have you a part of my tribe. Mwah. Be well.